What's up, YouTube? Welcome to week number 2 of doing vlogs every single Friday until the end of this year. What's up this week? We got some rink building. We have our handheld hot water Zamboni. We have a snowblower. That will be really cool. You don't want to miss that. I also want to announce to you guys that I want to have a little bit more educational content on this. I realize that vlogging can be entertaining, but I'd like to be able to share some of my experiences as a business owner for over 15 years and my transition throughout the green industry, starting in grass cutting, going to hedges, and now into tree work. On Instagram, I've asked a few polls asking people for some questions, and we've got already over a dozen questions that I'd love to answer in future videos on this channel. Now, I don't know if I'm going to splice it into the middle of my vlogs, or it will be maybe perhaps a separate video on a separate day. So you'll have to stay tuned for that. And once again, thanks for watching. Let's go. This is what happened this week. All right, this is the fun part. I've been making rinks on and off throughout my entire life growing up, and now I'm stoked to be able to make one at my house. Here's a little handheld Zamboni, I call it. So we talked about cold water watering last week, just building up the water, but now we are gonna play around with hot water. The first step here is called, essentially I'm just bleeding the hose. I'm waiting until the water turns hot. I have a hot water valve on the inside of my house, and I have to run this hose all the way to the inside of my house. So I'm draining my hot water tank right now, which is not great, probably costs a few bucks, but I'll explain why this is so worth it. So I'll just run this hose for a few seconds here until I feel the water turn really hot and we're good to go. What this contraption is essentially is it's not complicated. It's a T-post essentially. I bought it on Amazon. It's the shape of a T. I zip tied and I added like a little towel at the bottom to spread the water, but the hot water just runs through the handle left and right and has these little holes here and there and squirts out onto the rink. The point of the towel is to flatten the water and smooth the entire surface, as you see that is happening right now. You have to make sure the ice is perfectly clean. True, it will melt a little bit of snow. If you leave too much snow, you're going to be hauling it around and leaving some clumps. It's a fantastic approach to doing quick little reconditioning of the ice surface. So what's going on right here is that the hot water, which is actually over 120 Fahrenheit, like it's very hot, it is melting that top layer of ice and snow and filling in every single little crack, and you're only having to put down such a small amount. If you had to do this of cold water, you would be going back and forth, building up 1, 2, possibly 3 layers of cold water just to achieve this result. So this arguably is twice, if not 3 times faster than any other method. I'd say maybe even 3. Yeah, 3 is a nice number. So that's about 3 times faster. So we're able to do both rinks in about 10 to 15 minutes. This is the smaller one of our rink. We call it the skating rink. This is where my younger kids will come and play, and their neighborhood friends, while the boys play hockey on the big rink. So this hot water method, as you can see, just leaves the ice looking impeccable, and it's a fantastic method for quick, efficient ice building. One other cool fact is that hot water evaporates faster than cold water, meaning that it will freeze quicker. So we're able to sometimes go right back immediately and do a second layer with the hot water if it's not that perfect. As you can see on the far right there, it's pretty much frozen already. It's a remarkable thing. And I could not do this alone. My kids here are helping me pulling out all the slack from the hose so that it's not interfering with my feet or messing up the brand new surface of ice. They are tremendous helpers, and I love the fact that they get to be involved in this and they get a sense of accomplishment as well, working towards something that they can enjoy. So these are great memories for me, great memories for them, and I'm stoked, and we want to do this every single year. The hot water is also fantastic for melting out imperfections. So we had a big crack in the ice and essentially a plate of ice shifted up to the top, hosed it down, and she on. So I have to give my kids some chances when we're playing, but that will not last forever. I think I have maybe another 4 years of doing this, maybe 5, but by then these boys are going to be dancing circles around me. So you best believe that any opportunity that I get, I am going to make them look like a bunch of pylons, like I'm doing right now. Top cheese. This is not a very big bucket, and the chunks of ice in here are so big, I don't even think I could physically fit in here. Like, look at this stuff. It's everywhere. So I'm gonna pull out all the big chunks and top it off with water and kind of like cycle it through here. If it gets really warm, it might melt, but we're not expecting that for days. So if I want to keep on doing the ice bucket challenge, I gotta get the chunkies out of here. No.
Can't do it. I
Hey,
can't
look,
do
there's
it.
a fox. There's a bear.
It makes me want to cry. No.
World record.
Okay.
Right, I have been looking forward to this. A lot of you guys have said, Phil, you've done those tests with the snowblower on fluff. We want to see some thick stuff. So right here, there's not that much left. It seems to have melted a bit, but we got 3-4 inches of pure slush. This snowblower, I'm going to take the battery snowblower on it right now, and if it gives up, I'm taking out the gas one. First thing that I noticed on this machine is whenever dealing with heavy slush, the adjustment chute would not want to turn. So I had to stop the machine and I had to jerk it around a little bit. Sometimes I even had to kick at it. It's just because it's not made to be shooting pure water like this, which is so heavy. Look at that barrel. Look at the auger, right? It's just like a cylinder of slush. It would not spit it out 50 feet. It was kind of just shooting out 20. But it got the job done. I was not going full width here, maybe only 2/3, just to make sure I leave as little of a line behind as possible. This is not snow. This is pure slush, and this thing is still throwing it. Good thing we have heated hand warmers on it. As could be expected, I just killed the batteries. Now I came here with a quarter of the battery life already depleted, okay? I also came here in the slushiest conditions possible and full torque, and I'm using the hand warmers, which is using a better battery. So I got like 2/3 of this rink done, which is pretty impressive, I think, for essentially just plowing through water at the highest torque possible. If this was fluff, I could do this rink probably 3 times over. I'd like to get a better video of that one day for you, but now I have other batteries in the basement. Do a quick swap and we're good to go. So you see all these lines? This is definitely gonna take a bit of work to restore the ice. What I should have done is the snow changed to rain around midnight. I should have shoveled then and then let all that rain fall down and essentially level the ice. Since I didn't, this slush is a bit harder to clean off. I'm just gonna flatten everything and it should freeze. So this machine is getting the job done for any homeowner. If you're doing commercial work, I mean, better make sure you have some extra batteries. As you can see, they do drain, but we are in such bad conditions. I was very impressed with it. Very, very easy functions. This, I found it jammed up a little bit whenever we had some slush up in the chute over here. I had to stop it, kick the slush off before being able to turn the chute properly. So that's like probably the only thing I was a little bit disappointed on. Only jammed up on me once whenever I went half auger and half speed. I was just trying to purposely choke it and see, hey, look, where's our weakness? But I mean, this will like obviously be eco mode, but we can't do that with this kind of snow today, which is very, very slushy. So I really like the lightness of this. I mean, 2 guys were able to spot lift this into the truck very easily the other day. Very, very light unit. Overall, pretty impressed. All right, after the initial snow blowing pass, you see we still have some leftovers from the slush. Can't leave it here, it's gonna freeze. So I gotta take this shovel, Teflon blade, and I'm gonna push the slush to the sides. Then I'll take the snowblower out again and I'll shoot out the slush. We have to get back to the ice. If we leave any slush on top of this, it's gonna be bad news. So we gotta get back down to ice level. As you see, I scraped here. I gotta do this to the whole rink real quick. So I could have left that slush layer. I would eventually have frozen it, but there'd be these too many big ridges, right? So by scraping it all down to the ice, true, I got rid of that potential extra thickness, which is good for the ice. We have a lot of a smoother surface. I'm not gonna be OCD and go on every single little lump of ice. Those we can just get knocked off whenever we skate. It's gonna have these little slush things like this. Will just form a little bump, and after whenever we skate, they'll disappear. This is the finished product. Now we're gonna let this freeze and then we're gonna resurface it tomorrow night. This is as candid as it's gonna get. I'm not gonna hide anything from you guys. Make sure you have backup for your backup batteries. I went through 3 sets of batteries and I've been snowblowing for over an hour, but this has been like the harshest conditions. So it's not like an everyday test. I'm gonna do the same test next time we get like 4 to 6 inches of light fluffy snow, which is an average amount of snow. But yeah, I got a ton of batteries from my lawnmower that I bought last year, and you just need to have a lot of juice, because man, that snowblower drains batteries. But it performed really well. I was really impressed. And if the cost is having a few extra batteries on set, I mean, if you're going to be using this at your home, you might be having extra batteries for your other tools like your blower or your mower. So I mean, put them to use in the winter, use them on the snowblower. It's not a bad idea to keep those juices flowing and getting those batteries working a little bit in the winter as well. So it's not the end of the world, just a little bit more in and out charging the batteries, but overall pretty impressed. Alrighty, who's ready to hear a confession? All right, let's do it. So this is probably my biggest toxic trait. My wife took our daughter out for supper, and I had all the boys at home. So she got the salmon underway, and I had to just finish up the rest. But whenever this happens, I kind of feel like I did all the work, which is not really the case. In this case, I did have to whip up the broccoli and get the rice going. So listen, I did do a little bit of the work, but far too many times she'll leave everything fully ready to go, and I just think that I'm a hero because I turn up in the kitchen and I make the food. But to be honest, guys, I do not spend a ton of time in the kitchen. Whenever I am doing this right now, I feel like Gordon Ramsay. I feel like I'm in a world and I'm doing something really, really good, but it's always basic stuff. I do have a lot of fun though in here, and I do hope to spend more time in the kitchen. Hey, look, I'm closing the drawers. It's unheard of. Usually I leave everything open and I use far too many utensils and I use far too many dishes. But yeah, salmon, you're going right back in, and let's eat. Look at this fantastic 3-piece entree that I prepared. Except I did not prepare it. Well, a little bit. Well, you get the point. Listen, I try to improve, but one thing I really like to do in the kitchen is the dishwasher. It's my favorite thing in the world. I love organizing that thing. You'll get to know me, guys. I will be doing a little confession on here every now and then, but I'll tell you one thing. I am not always an organized person. When it comes to the dishwasher, I'm probably the most organized person in the world. All right, this is the next day. This is best case scenario. Everything is frozen over. It's not perfect. We can see those imperfections. Now we just have to resurface it and we'll be ready to skate. Man, I gotta tell you, skating rinks are so much work. If you think about snow blowing, scraping. In this case, I'm blowing off just the finest little bit of snow that froze on the slush right before we were gonna water again. You combine all these things, it's a full-time job. If you let it go, you can absolutely ruin your rink 1 week to the next. So you gotta be on it, you gotta be constantly checking the weather and going out there with the right tools and the right care to make it nice. I'll tell you one thing that this snowblower is missing. Coffee cup holder. They have it on the lawnmower. I mean, come on, guys. That'd be great. All right, so that's a 1,000 square foot skating rink. We had approximately 8 inches of wet snow on it. And we went through 60% of the battery on these 10 amp hours. So we still got a bit of juice left. We did some in the driveway. Let's keep on going. All right, wifey's still at it. I'm doing a battery swap for her. So she did about 1/3 of the big rink and the batteries were done. So we did all the small rink, 1/3 of the big one. Plus I did where our van was. Probably at least 1,600 square feet, more or less on one set of batteries. 8 inches of relatively wet snow. So yeah, pretty impressive. You just need extra batteries. So just like anything in life, if you have a drill, you usually have 2 batteries. If you have a hedge trimmer, you usually have 2 batteries. If you have a snowblower, you need 2 sets of batteries, which 2 plus 2 equals 4. All right, we finished off the rest of the rink. Half battery. Good job, dear. You crushed it.
Ready for an ice bath?
Ready for an ice bath?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
We gotta do it today.
The ice baths continue in January, so we are in here 3 days a week, all month long. To be honest, I think this was my wife's idea. I was like, hey, we should do it. She's like, all right, I'll do it with you, but these are the rules. And I totally agree. I don't think I could do this every single day. Pretty chilly, but here it's a little bit better today. So we were enjoying donuts, and we topped it off with a little bit of warmer water to get the temperature up to around 10 degrees. You know, the average ice bath is between 10 and 15 degrees Celsius, and we had been dabbing in the 0-degree water, which is freezing cold. I could spend about a minute in there maximum, start getting some numbness on my toes. Not the most pleasant thing, so getting this warmer ice bath kind of feels like a bit of a treat. It's colder air temperature outside compared to it, and yeah, my wife and I here stuck it out for about a minute and a half, and it was it's pretty rewarding. I think it just feels good that you're actually doing it. I don't know if we're reaping as many benefits as some people say they do, for example, if they are doing it, every single day. But for us, it's a lot of fun and it's a challenge, and so far, so good. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. This has been a fun week for us. We have some cool things to show you guys next week. So once again, thanks for supporting my channel by watching these videos, and we'll see you next week.